Okay guys, here we are. We're working on some math skills today. This is the worksheet, the first page that I've given you. There's some different problems worked out here. There's one on the first page, there's one on the second page, and there's an example problem on the third page. Okay, at the end there's some guided practice. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to work out problems 1, 4, and 7. Okay, so it's basically the first practice problem at the bottom of each of the first 3 pages. Alright, so we're looking right here. You must exert a force of 4.5 newtons on a book to slide it across a table. If you do 2.7 joules of work in the process, how far have you moved the book? Alright, I want to show you how this needs to be worked out, and you need to work it out exactly as I show you, okay, because that's how it's going to get graded. Alright, so first of all, we're going to write down, just like up here, we're going to write down givens, and we're going to write down what we're trying to find. So number 1, all right, given, and I'll put a semicolon there. So we're given a force equals 4.5 newtons. Let's see if I can zoom in here some. Okay, they are given 4.5 newtons. Work equals 2.7 joules. Okay, J for joules. And then what are we trying to find? Okay, we're trying to find the distance that it was moved, so a little d for distance. And that's going to be some number, question mark, in this case meters. I'll go ahead and put a meter there. You don't have to put the unit here with a question mark, okay, because that will change depending on the problem. All right, but you always need to put down what your givens are. Okay, the force, the number unit, work, number unit. All right. Now we know from looking at the handout that the equation you need to use for this is going to be work equals force times distance. Always write down your equation. W equals F times D. Okay, that's supposed to be a W. All right. Now if we're going to rearrange this, if we divide both sides by F, okay, so I'll get W over F equals F times D over F. All right, then this F cancels that F, and you get W over F equals D. All right, that's really, really small. Let me write that again. All right, W over F equals D. All right, that's a little better. Okay, now I'm going to take this equation, and I've got these two givens, and I got what I need to find all by itself, so I'm just going to plug my values into this equation. Okay, the work is 2.7 joules. So down here on the next line, I'm going to write 2.7 J, okay, over 4.5 N newtons. Okay, that's equal to D. So we'll just come down here and say D equals 2.7 divided by 4.5. I can tell you it's going to be less than 1. It's going to be 0.6. And the unit you end up with is a meter. I'll show you why. Because a joule equals a newton times a meter. Alright? So a joule, J equals a newton times a meter. So a joule divided by a newton, alright, if this is a joule, we divide by a newton, that's going to equal a meter, because the newtons cancel out, you just get meters left over. Or we had J over N, we made J into newton meter, which is the same thing as a newton meter. A newton divided by a newton goes away, you just have meters. Alright, so that's the unit for our answer. And then I want you to put a box around your answer, alright? That way I don't have to go looking for it. It's easy to find. Okay, now how is this going to get graded? Well, let's take out a red pen and assign points to things. Alright, first of all, you got to write F equals 4.5 N. That's going to be worth 1 point. Okay, W equals 2.7 J. That's going to be worth 1 point. So basically, you write down your two givens, and that's 2 points. You write down what you're trying to find. D equals question mark. Okay, if you know what unit it's going to be, you can write it down, but if not, just leave a question mark. That's worth a point. Okay, let's do 1 point for the equation that you're going to use. Work equals F times D. Okay, and then we can rearrange that. We substitute our values in, that's going to be worth a point. Okay, we put our values into the equation after we've rearranged it. And then for the answer, we're going to give 1 point for telling us what you're finding, or equals, 1 point for the right number, 1 point for the right unit. Okay? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points. All right? Now, I know you might be thinking to yourself, that's an awful lot of writing to solve a simple little problem like this. That might be true. Okay? You won't always have to do this, but on this assignment, that's how it's going to get graded. So just go ahead, take the time, and do it. All right? And learning to do this will help you understand the process. You'll be able to do them faster and easier in the future. It will also help you solve other problems that are very different from what we're seeing today. Okay? All right, so that's number 1. Now, back here on this page, we could go ahead and write our answer, I guess. We'll just say, no, I don't want to write on that. Okay, you can just write D equals 0.6 meters. I'm going to grade your note paper, though, okay? That's what's going to get graded, not this. All right, so that's number 1. Now, these next 2 problems down here have scientific notation in them. Okay, this 7.25 times 10 to the minus 2, 4.35 times 10 to the minus 2. And then down below, again, we have scientific notation. Okay, I'll go over that with you in a little while. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next page. Okay, again, we have a sample problem. It's worked out for you. Should have already read through that. And then down here, we've got question number 4. And it says, the world's most powerful tugboats are built in Finland. One of these boats can do 9.8 times 10 to the 7th joules of work through a distance of 35 meters. What is the force exerted by the tugboat? Okay, up here we've got, again, work equals force times distance. That's the equation we're going to use. Let's figure out what our givens are. Okay, and we're also going to write down what we need to find. Okay, so our given is 9.8 times 10 to the 7th joules of work. So we'll write that down. Work equals 9.8 times 10 to the 7th joules. All right, through a distance of 35 meters, so D equals 35 M is the abbreviation for meters. Okay, I'm talking and I'm not showing you this. So this is what we have so far, right? And we want to find the force. Okay, it's asking us what is the force exerted by the tugboat. So F equals, and I'll just write a question mark this time. All right, I know that if I'm looking for a force, it's going to end up in newtons in this case. All right, so our equation equals work. Apparently I'm not good at writing W's today. Work equals force times distance. Okay, we're going to have to rearrange this thing because we want to solve for force. So let's divide both sides by D. W divided by D equals F times D divided by D. This time my D's cancel here, and I got W over D equals F. Okay, and I realize that's very hard to read, so I'm going to write it again over here. W over D equals F. All right. Work divided by distance is going to give my force. All right, so let's plug values in. We've got the work, we've got the distance, okay, and we'll solve for F. So let's just write right here, 9.8 times 10 to the 7th joules over 35 meters equals F. All right, now a joule, again, I said is a Newton meter, so let's go over here. Okay, we've got joules over meters for the units. A joule is a Newton times a meter. Okay, when you divide that by a meter, the meters go away and you get newtons for your answer on units. All right. So back here, Let me show you how to do this. And it's going to look different on different calculators. So I'll show you first on mine, and then I'll go over the other calculators with you later today. All right, 9.8. Gotta zoom out a little bit to get everything in there. All right, so I just entered 9.8. Then I hit this double E button. Okay, right there. That's an exponential notation. 7, that's the exponent. Okay, 9.8 times 10 to the 7th. It looks like this on my calculator. If I hit enter, it's going to show me a number that's 98 million. Okay, because that's what that is. Now I divide that by 35, and I'm going to get another large number. Okay. I'm going to write this two different ways. I'll write it first of all, F equals 2, 8, then I just count my zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 2,800,000 newtons. Okay. Or you can say F equals 2.8 times 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 6th newtons. All right, there's two different ways to write that. You can write it either way. Okay, 2,800,000 or 2.8 times 10 to the 6th. I'll put a box around both of those. All right, again, let's look at this. How are we assigning point values to this problem? Well, 1 for writing down your first given, 1 point for writing down your second given, 1 point for writing down what you're trying to find. 1 point for writing down the equation. 1 point for writing the numbers into your equation. Okay, basically this whole thing right here. And then the answer is going to be 1 point for the telling me what you're looking for, 1 point for the number, and 1 point for the unit. And I don't care if you use this or this. Okay, either way you get a point. All right, but if you write 2.8 and don't put the times 10 to the 6th, it's way wrong. Okay, it's 2.8 as opposed to 2,800,000. So don't make that mistake. Okay, I'm gonna pause this recording, I think, and start a new one.